He was strictly an athlete from a very young age.
Yes, youth must be served. This year, Don has led Green Bay to some dramatic last-minute wins. But coming out of high school, no Division I college offered him a scholarship. So he was off to Fork Union Military Academy in Virginia to play for a year, a costly year for his family.
Instead of going to college free, it probably cost $6,000 and then traveling costs, so maybe an $8,000 a year.
It was very tough financially. In fact, Don loved he had a Trans Am as a senior in high school. We had to sell that, and we didn't care. We'd do anything just to get him through this school.
From Fork Union, it was on to the University of Virginia with that much-needed scholarship. Now in his third season with Green Bay, Don's style and winning ways have local folks convinced that the pack is back.
I've called some bad plays that haven't had a chance from the time they left my mouth, and he's turned them into good plays by scrambling around, finding somebody open. He's done a good job running the football, avoiding sacks. That's one of his strong suits, I think.
I like to have what I call a controlled cockiness. I think when you're a quarterback, you have to have a certain cockiness to go out there and know that you're good and know that you have the ability to be successful.
His car might have been sold once to finance his education, but now Don's success is approaching overdrive. Still, he remains level-headed. He bought his parents a satellite dish and a giant screen TV for their home. That's where Mom sweated out last week's controversial game-winning TD pass that was called back.
When they said it was no touchdown, my heart broke. I said, how could that be? You know, it just looks so good.
They're reviewing the tape right now. The line of scrimmage was the 14-yard line.
You can see where his foot is now in the 15. There goes the ball. So it was good. Oh, when we heard that, everybody just jumped up, we hugged, we kissed each other, and we just thank God.
For now, Don has no complaints. Well, maybe one.
You're an eligible bachelor here in Green Bay. Is there a young lady in your life that you're close to?
Unfortunately, no, not at this time. There isn't. I think my profession right now is my main priority, and 100% of my time and effort goes into that. And hopefully, sooner or later, my mom's putting the pressure on me. She wants some grandchildren. But I don't even have a girlfriend right now, I told her, Mom, so give me a break.
Yeah, Detroit's first. Dick, what makes him a good quarterback, some of it?
Well, he's a super athlete, and of course he's very mobile. But in that particular play, if everybody would notice where he threw the ball, he's scrambling right, and everybody says, well, that's nice and easy, so he can throw straight down the field. But Magic goes across the field practically, and that takes a little arm strength to do that. So he's a super athlete is what he is.
Yeah, Dick and Will and Irv, let's roll that controversy back up, because I want to ask Irv a question. There's a lot of confusion about the rule here, of the line by the foot. What's the situation with this?
Well, people are confused because they look at the line, but really the key here is where is his hand when the ball leaves it? If his hand is beyond the line of scrimmage, it's an illegal forward pass. You can see there, we super that line there at the 14-yard line. It's pretty close.
You bet it was close. Will, what's the league saying about that rule?
Well, Brent, they gave a little bit to both sides. You know, the film after the game goes to the league office. They look at it. And they call back Lindy Infante and say, you know, Lindy, the official in the field should have never thrown the flag in the first place. It was that close. It wasn't clear-cut. It was a penalty. Then they call up Ditka. And they say, Mike, we want you to know something. Our instant replay guy was wrong. He should have never made that call. He made a mistake. What he should have said was inconclusive. So you get two guys made errors, the guy in the field and the guy in the booth.
I've got some more things I want to ask you about Mike Ditka, and we're going to get to that when we continue live on CBS in just a moment.
Sometimes you got it today. Emerson's got it right. Fine-tune it, fine-tune your life. Nobody's got to tell you. Emerson does it right. Fine-tune it, fine-tune it, fine-tune your life.
Fine-tune your life with Emerson.
Even when the noise stops, this headache just keeps going. I used to take aspirin or Tylenol, but today I take Advil. Advil stops my headaches, and it's gentler to my stomach than aspirin. Advil, advanced medicine for pain.
Xerox presents the Great American Torture Test. We challenge the bone-numbing cold of northern Alaska and passed with flying colors. Xerox, because extreme conditions demand extreme protection.
future, we invite you to learn the technology of tomorrow while you serve your country in the Navy of today.
Never, because there are no unimportant parts.
I've got to hand one thing to Pittsburgh Steelers head coach Chuck Noll. He's got staying power. He's #1 on the seniority list of head coaches still active. Now take a look at this list. Mike Ditka's name, #5 on that roster. But listening to Iron Mike earlier this week, you might get the impression that he's not planning to stick around too much longer.
I've always tried to be honest from the day I got the job till now. And there was a while when people appreciated it, and now that we've had some success, people don't appreciate honesty so much anymore. You're supposed to tell them what they want to hear. Well, it won't be that way, and I don't think they'll have to worry about it very long. I'm not going to do this very much longer anyways. They can get somebody else and continue about their own ways. But and the Bears will continue to win because I think the blocks are in place.
Well, how serious is Ditka here?
Oh, he's kind of serious, Brent. You know, I talked with Michael McCaskey, the president of the Bears, and he said even before Mike said that this week, they had had conversations about his retiring at the end of the year. McCaskey told him, Mike, we want you to stay. McCaskey also told me his main concern is from 2 television networks who both had standing offers to Ditka to come work for them as soon as he's through. I talked to another friend of Ditka's who's very close to him, and he said he feels that Ditka will coach through 1990.
I just happen
and then
to
step up.
I just happen to think, I'd like to be a play-by-play guy with Ditka getting in your face in the booth. Listen, if they did replace him with the Bears, who would they turn to?
Brent, I think it's almost a certainty it would be Vince Tobin, the defensive coordinator. He stepped in there last year when Mike was sick. I talked to Michael McCaskey. He said, well, it's not written in stone on Vince Tobin, but he would certainly be the #1 guy.
Talk about Hot Will. Get an earful of Viking head coach Jerry Burns now, defending his offensive coordinator Bob Schnelker after last Sunday's win over the Rams.
As long as I'm in the job, Schnelker will be the offensive coach. I mean, no about that. No question about that. Now, I don't like to name names after a game, but we can't be responsible for the blocking. We can't be responsible for the guys jumping offside. We can't be responsible for. We get down there and it was a dumb play by Anderson. I love Anderson, but it was a dumb play when his foot was shoe was coming off up the line screen. We were hollering take time out. We had a trap play called, and his shoe comes off. That ain't Bob Schnelker's fault.
Coach, we get the bleeping idea.
Now, that was one of his calmer press conferences. I want you to know that, Brent. Let me give you the background and why Bob Schnelker kept on coming up the offensive coordinator. He's under a lot of pressure in Minnesota. In fact, during the game, they put his picture up there in the picture board. The people booed when he was coming off the field. Even though they won in overtime, they threw debris on him. Now, when they walked in the locker room, they went in the coach's room, Jerry Burns looked over, and he saw Bob Schnelker crying. Big, tough Bob Schnelker. And that's why he got emotional. He went out there and he wanted to tell the press and the world, listen, I'm behind this guy.
Well, another issue. New England quarterback Steve Grogan, he ended up more than a little groggy last Sunday against the Jets, as you know. He suffers a mild concussion on this third quarter hit from Jet rookie Ron Stallworth. Grogan on the scramble, and watch what happens.
Brent, that's what you call getting decked. And what has happened is the Patriots have sent this film into the league office. It's now under review. I think what's going to happen is there's going to be a fine handed out here. It's a lot like the Wilbur Marshall hit on Joe Ferguson a couple of years ago. Grogan himself said one of the things he's noticed that's changed in the game is when he first started, the defensive players would hit you, but at times they would also protect you. He says that doesn't happen anymore. These guys try to hurt you.
All right, we're going to continue by taking a look at one of the hottest items of the NFL, Neon Deion Sanders, when we continue live here on CBS.
So what'd you use? My checker face frame.